I'm rocking my cozy but anxious sweatsuit. Shout out. What should we do? Should we do turquoise? Should we do like a red? I think we're gonna do like a turquoise right there. Welcome back to the studio. If you're new, I'm SLEW. We're gonna paint this delicious portrait of a girl today. This random reference I found on Google. I just wanted to paint it. We're gonna talk about my path as an artist, as a painter, how I feel, what I think about my practice with oil painting specifically, where I came from, where I want to go, what we're doing right now. It's gonna be great, documenting every stroke. We're gonna walk through the whole process of this painting like I do, like I love. If this is your first video you're seeing of mine, consider subscribing. Watch the whole thing. Let me know what you think, and then consider subscribing. We do these sorts of projects every week. Getting weird in this art studio. Actually, I'm moving art studios very soon into New York City. That's a few months away, though. We could talk about that later. So yeah, let's begin. The beginning, not the actual beginning, but sort of the preparatory stage of setting up and dialing my setup, whether it's oil painting like we're doing right now, or if it's a stencil project, or you're painting some big mural. I love the prep stage of getting the materials down, my painting zone, and just absolutely beginning. And then actually starting is sometimes really difficult, but you know, this is the setup right now, really exciting. And also the first kind of 2 hours of this portrait, I was live streaming on Patreon. This is just a quick snippet of the live stream. You know, we paint or draw every single week, whatever project I'm working on. I live stream once a week. We also have a kind of private Discord where people share artwork. We give critiques. You could talk to me more easily, and it's just a great place if you want more access. Only $5 a month. I think really worth it. But we're jumping in here, and you could see I kind of slowed down this first process on a slower time lapse because I hadn't painted in like 2 weeks, and that's a very long time for me not to paint. I was super rusty. I felt very foreign with a paintbrush. This first one, boom, erase it, because the whole framing, it was gonna be too big towards the top of the this little canvas panel, so I restarted. But I was feeling very I was feeling not focused because I just hadn't painted in a while. Usually I paint at least 3-4 times a week. Sometimes it's every day if I'm working on a big project, whatever. 2 weeks, you know, I've been really busy. I'm moving art studios. I'm trying to move to New York City, other business, whatever craziness. So I hadn't painted a while. And so this is the third go. I was talking to people on the Patreon on the live stream, the different ways to sort of start a portrait, and I really failed the first 2 times. So this is the third go, and we kind of stick with this one, starting with a super simple circle. And there's a million ways to start a portrait. There's no one way. There's different, you know, there's the Loomis head, there's the Riley method, whatever. And if you do it enough like I have, you kind of blend them all together, and you do with what works for the pose and whatever. I usually like to start with the kind of silhouette or the jawline or something like that. I don't know. But I wanted to talk really briefly, and I know it's going to turn into a rant, about where I came from as an artist and where I want to go. And you know, I titled this video, I always dreamt about painting like this, and not to say that this is like the pinnacle of my painting career or the highest skill anyone's ever achieved, but you know, I was a kid, like when I was 18, 19, this is more when I was really obsessed with graffiti, but I would watch these videos on YouTube, and these people paint murals or graffiti or graffiti characters, and I was just so mesmerized and so enthralled with that work, and I wanted to do it so bad, and I would watch it and I was like, I want to do that. That's all I want to be able to do. And then fast forward a couple more years when it kind of turned to more traditional painting, and I was trying to apply to school, but I was always that kid, you know, in my bed at night looking at these painters or looking at these artists being like, holy crap, like I want to do that. What do I have to do to be able to do that? And so, you know, it was a slow process. You know, 3-4 years. I've been painting for 5 years now, and more seriously for the past 2.5, 3, where it's now turned into my job, my occupation. I have this business and all this stuff. But you know, I've never been more passionate and more excited about painting than I have been right now. And I'm really just, I don't know what I'm trying to say. I'm really just happy for myself for kind of, you know, persevering and sticking with this, you know, this craft, because I really have improved over the last 5 years. And again, not that I'm the best painter, not even close. I'm not judging myself or comparing myself. I'm just talking about self-improvement, because obviously I started, you know, 5 years ago when I was 20. with no skills. You know, I don't believe in born talent, natural talent. I mean, maybe there's natural passion and enthusiasm that helps you learn and be savvy to new projects, but you know, it just takes time and effort and you know, practice, and that's how you really improve. And so over the last 5 years, I think I've really put in a lot of work, now more than ever, and I'm just really pumped with where I am. I'm just looking back. It's just kind of like a nostalgic trip because all the people who hit me up on Instagram and DM me, oh, I want to be able to paint like this, and how do you improve? What was your path? Like, it was just like all of you. I started out not knowing anything, how to do anything, and I was just so obsessed and still obsessed, and I was just hungry to learn and hungry to do. You know, my enthusiasm and passion for watching people on YouTube and absorbing also paralleled with my passion to do. I was painting every week in my garage or at boarding school or during the summer, by me, for me, always working, always kind of pushing myself and experimenting and just trying to improve. So it's really awesome, and it takes time, and I don't know if that helped anyone, but you know, you can do whatever you want if you just, you know, are into it and put enough time and just have the long vision in there. You know, if you want to become a portrait painter or a fine artist, think about 3 years down the line, and that's kind of really scary to say, oh, that's so long, I don't know, I just want to be able to do it now. Obviously, but you just got to have fun in the moment, especially if you're starting out. I don't want to rant anymore. I'm very losing track, and we're about to do a mid-painting update, and I actually really stopped this painting after this Patreon session because I was really busy and I didn't get to touch it for a few more days. But we'll talk more because we have another 5-minute session after this mid-painting update. But yeah, I want to get that mega rant out. I'm back. It's been a few days. The painting has dried. I've been crazy busy, but like I said, this is an awesome kind of painting that I'm excited about. Even though it's a study, I'm gonna keep working it and kind of render it, give it some more time. I got the quintessential painting snack right here. Ruffles, some muffin grapes, probiotic smoothie, some tea. If this isn't screaming painting session, I don't know what life is anymore. I don't know what I said in the voiceover because how I edit the videos is I do the time lapses and all these updates, and then at the end I do the voiceover. I'm sure I'm going to say a few things, but it's awesome coming back to this painting a few days later, a break from looking at it so closely, and I could already see some issues. For example, you know, this kind of tilt, this angle right here, this model, this girl has a very sharp, you know, jawline. I might need to, you know, if you do a plumb line from this lip to chin on the reference, I might need to bring this chin in just a little more. So I'm gonna work on that angle. Her forehead looks not there, and that's because, you know, I kind of made this shadow too much on here. It's basically all in light, so I'm gonna bring this light back, and that will hopefully fix the forehead shape. There's a few little other things I haven't really even put in the eyes, which will be we'll see how that goes. I might have to lower these eyebrows just a touch. So good things like this, stepping away for a while, coming back, that I now know for sure. Also this neck I need to make a little skinnier. It's a little too far this way, just things like that. But that's it, let's keep painting. I'm gonna have a view of the palette now because I'm not live streaming anymore. So I have 2 cameras available, one for the painting, one for the palette. Grapes. I edit this video all through, export it so I could see the time lapse clearly, so I can talk about certain places. But you know, I really just ranted in that first kind of painting session. Then the mid painting update, all jolly. We'll talk more technical chop shop right now rather than talking about my history and my path. Even though I know people like that, you know, like I said, people ask me where I was when I was their age and what I did. You know, I've kind of rigorously documented my entire artistic career, not only, you know, physically with the videos since 2014, everything I've ever painted pretty much is on YouTube, but also, you know, hyper analyzing my progress and how I feel about my skill level, and not only the skill level, but, you know, my strategies to learn. I'm very obsessed with all that, meticulously analyzing myself, and so I like to share it. And you gotta take it all obviously with a grain of salt because I'm just me with my experiences and as me as a person. But if it could help someone or give insight or inspire someone, you know, that's obviously the goal of, that's you know, that's the core ideal of sharing your experience. But you got to take it with a grain of salt. And this is just for me and what I'm into and painting. And, you know, another good thing to talk about with this whole portrait, we're working on this beautiful nose, by the way, right now. This is a study. This portrait, I'm rendering out a lot more than I would a normal study. Usually a quote unquote painting study would be an hour, maybe 2 hours, or maybe 3, you know, depending on your session. This was, you know, like maybe 4 hours, 5 hours in 2 separate sessions. And the reason I'm rendering it is just because I want to, because I was really amped about the start. You know, we're hitting this 2 days later, and it's really exciting because I put all that foundational work into the placement of the eyes, the nose, making it look like her, the lights and darks. Now it's kind of just really fun, low pressure, filling in everything and rendering it out. And so, but back to like the point of this, it's just a study, it's to practice. I'm not selling this. This isn't to be shown at a gallery. It's just to keep the cogs moving in my creative arsenal, so to speak, my creative machine that is my brain, I guess you could say, in my hands. It's just to keep the oil on the gears. And, you know, like I said, I didn't paint for 2 weeks, and it was kind of like a long time. Did I say that in the first part? I don't remember. But this painting was like the first kind of oil painting practice I did in 2 weeks. And so I was definitely sore. But it's all just about consistency. You know, I like to try to paint at least 3 times a week for at least 10 hours a week. And that's not even that much. It's way less than it used to be. Sometimes during painting projects, I'm painting, you know, 30, 40 hours a week. But it all depends on the project. But this core practice, you know, it's not just for oil painting. The in a portrait, it's, you know, okay, let's break this down. This portrait I'm painting, it's not just to make it look like her. Obviously, that's the goal of the micro agenda, but the macro agenda is sort of to, like, you know, work on color theory, mixing and blending colors and working with warm and cools. There's also, you know, smooth transition with values, really explaining the form of this portrait. You know, there's so many things within the portrait to work on, foreshortening, you know, like I said, composition, all these things. So it's just a giant practice to slowly increase all of the tenets, the skills within an oil painting practice. And even further, that core oil painting practice helps inform everything I do within art and drawing and my stencil projects and my fantastical characters that I do, you know? So there's so many fundamentals within this oil painting portrait that maybe you wouldn't know if I didn't just rant about it right now, but it's really helping me affect my whole thinking when I start drawing or I start conceptualizing some character. You know, there's so many core fundamental things that help me out. That's why I think my oil painting practice is sort of the most popular. I spend the most time, and it's the most consistent practice because, like I said, it kind of helps everything out. But yeah, we're getting to the end here. I think that, you know, to talk about this portrait specifically, the ear, I hardly spent any time on. I just forgot about that. We were working on the face, and I think if I spent, you know, 30 more minutes on the ear, I can make it 100 times better. It's just very flat, you'll see. Also, this right eye for everything. I think this is another issue I have. We're talking specifically critiquing this painting now. I tend to make the eyes, nose, and mouth, I feel like a millimeter too big, or just in percentages like 5% too big. And if you see the reference, I think it is, you know, it's slightly too big with the eyes, but that's kind of like stylistically animated look. It looks nice. You know, she looks very naturalistic, but also at the same time kind of like idealized in terms of a female, I guess, whatever. But so those are 2 issues. But other than that, I really think I nailed my value structure and just the colors. And I was just really happy with this portrait. You know, it was kind of a smooth ride. I felt confident the whole way. Again, not the most amazing portrait ever, but really happy for myself because it's just a good sign of where I'm at, and it wasn't anything crazy. You know, this is just quick studies, but you know, if I'm trying to pop these out 4 or 5 times a week, it's just immense practice and just getting familiar with everything. Again, I'm just trying to share my experience with oil painting in my creative practice. So, booyah! So that's it. Hopefully you enjoyed this project, this video, learned something about how I feel about painting and what it means to me and how that influences the things I make and how much I practice and all that good jazz. If you like the video, smash the like button. It helps out the channel. You know how it works, the algorithm, YouTube. The algorithm. No one knows how it works, but liking definitely helps. I want to know what your feedback, if anyone has wonderful critique they want to give me, I welcome that. Also on Discord, if you join the Patreon, it's only $5 a month. You get access to the private Discord where we talk about artwork all the time. We do live streams every week. There's a community art board where people send and talk about their artwork. It's pretty cool. That's all I got. Stay tuned. Like I said, there's a bunch of changes to this whole channel, to my life that's gonna specifically influence the YouTube channel, my business, the videos, all this wonderful, exciting things. It's been in the works for over a year and it's coming soon. We're gonna keep updating and rolling out this new stuff, new content, new videos, new art studio soon. Be patient, and I appreciate everyone who watches the video and shows love because it's an awesome little community. I love painting and I love YouTube. That's it.